The attribution process. The attribution process is really just about us being amateur social scientists, and we look around and we try to understand people's behaviors. So people behave in a certain way, they take certain actions, and we ask, why? Why do they do that? So the attribution process is the way that we people come to understand the causes of our own behavior as well as other people's behaviors. So the causes of our behaviors. Attributions play a large role in perceptions, right? So the perceptions that I have are about people in this world. When we make attributions about other people's behaviors, what they do, these thoughts that I have, the attributions that I make, become judgments about an individual's basic characteristics, what that person is really like. So I see your behaviors, and now I'm making judgments about who you are as a person. So if I see you coming late, then I might make certain attributions about that, why you are late, the causes of your lateness, your tardiness. And then I start to think about what kind of a person would be late. And now all of a sudden, I have thoughts about who you are as a person. So, for instance, in companies, in organizations, a manager who attributes poor performance to the employee themselves, maybe we're more punitive and punish more than somebody who attributes poor performance to the situation, to the context that would be outside of the employee's control. So if the manager believes that the employee is performing poorly because they don't have enough training, that's going to get a really different consequence than if I believe, or if the manager believes that the poor performance is because the employee doesn't have the ability. So the attribution process looks something like this. We have some antecedents up top. These are the things that precede the attributions that I actually make or that you actually make. And then after the attributions have been made, there are consequences. So the antecedents include things such as information, the information that we have about the person we are perceiving and about the situation. It also includes things like our beliefs, like the implicit personality theory that we have talked about in class. Implicit personality theory essentially says that I look at you and I make a judgment about your personality based on the way you present to the world, based on the way you look. And then motivation. Do I have the motivation? Am I motivated to make an accurate assessment or an accurate attribution in this moment? And then we actually make the attribution. This is the attribution. Now we are determining the cause of the behavior. So does it sit internal to the person or does it sit external to the person? So your act, your activity, did it occur because of who you are as a person, or did it occur because of something in the context, in the situation? And now, depending on what I perceived, I have certain behaviors that comes from that. So if I see you behaving poorly at work and I make an external attribution that you don't have enough training, then I'm going to provide training for you. If I make an internal attribution that you don't have the attitude, the right attitude, you're just a negative person, you come in late and you're a little bit lazy, well, now I'm going to maybe put you on an individual discipline plan or, contribution plan to make sure that we are maybe managing you out of the organization. I might have certain feelings, positive or negative, depending on it. And for sure, the expectations that come from this will be influenced as well. So my expectations of your future behavior. So this is a quick little table that talks about how we might behave towards those we believe are strong performers and how we might behave towards those we think are weaker. So if I have a person on my team and I think they're a super strong performer, I'm going to allow them to be part of the decision-making process. I'm going to call them up to help me problem solve. If they mess up, well, oops, it happens. It's a learning opportunity, and we'll try again next time. And they will also get the more challenging, fun projects. if this person is perceived to be a weak performer, now I will micromanage and give very detailed instructions. I will check up on them frequently. And if there are mistakes happening, I will be there immediately to see what's going on. And I'm going to emphasize them and we're going to talk about them. And then there are no challenging projects to be given, but rather routine work. The attribution process includes us coming to certain decisions. And there are 3 different decision criteria that we look at: consistency, distinctiveness, consensus. Consistency is the extent to which the person perceived behaves the same on other occasions when faced with the same situation. So, when a person exhibits the same behavior over time, consistency is high. So you are at work and this person always comes late to work. We would say that that is high consistency, which should mean that is an internal attribution. High consistency, internal attribution. Low consistency, external attribution. Distinctiveness, the extent to which the person perceived acts in the same manner in different situations. So when a person exhibits the same behavior across different situations, we say that distinctiveness is low. So if you come late to work and you're late to everything else, you come late to happy hour, you are late to church, you're late to the parents' meeting at school, we have low distinctiveness, internal attribution. If there would be high distinctiveness, external. So you are only late to work, but to nothing else. Well, maybe it's just traffic in the morning when you're trying to get to work. That would be an external attribution. Consensus, the extent to which other people, not you or not the person we are perceiving, but other people, when they are in the same situation, behave in a manner like the person perceived. So if it's only one person exhibiting the behavior, consensus is low. So if the person in question is the only person who comes late, then it must be internal. It can't be traffic, right? If everyone else is coming late as well, now we have high consensus. Everyone is late, and that is external. Clearly, traffic is bad today. So, to summarize, we are seeing consistency being low, distinctiveness high, consensus high. This would be external causes of the behavior. Consistency high, distinctiveness low, consensus low. This would be internal causes of that behavior. So to just drive home this point a little bit further, because it might be a little bit of a trickier concept. Here is the behavior being observed. You have the 3 decisions: consistency, distinctiveness, consensus. And they can either be high or low. And depending on if they're high or low, they are internal or external. So it looks something like this. Behavior, when we're looking at consistency, where internal factors are high and external factors are low. Then we have distinctiveness, where external factors are high and internal factors are low. And then we have behavior that includes consensus, where external factors are high and internal factors are low. Related to the attribution process is what is called the fundamental attribution error. The fundamental attribution error means that we have a tendency to underestimate the influence of situational factors, and we have a tendency to overestimate internal factors. So this error causes the person who is perceiving us, when we are perceiving other people, this error causes us to ignore the situation most of the time. So it is called the fundamental attribution error because it is so fundamental. So often, almost always, when a person performs poorly or does something bad in our mind, we think it's because of them. We do not take into account enough the influence that the situation has on their behavior. So it's something really to be mindful about. We can also talk really quickly about attributions of successes and failures. So when somebody is successful on a task or they fail on a task, we say, why was there a success or why was there a failure? So there are 4 different causal factors: ability, effort, task, and luck. So we might make an ability assessment. The person doesn't have the competencies, they are incompetent, or they're highly competent if they succeeded. Effort, they didn't work very hard, or they worked over and beyond for the successes. The task difficulty, the task was too hard, it was impossible for them to do a good job on it, or it was easy. And luck, it was just circumstances, all the stars aligned and came together beautifully. Then we have what is called the self-serving bias, related to the fundamental attribution error on the prior slide, where now with the focus on ourselves, we tend to attribute our successes to our internal characteristics, our ability and effort. So if I succeed, it is clearly because I am amazing. I have great competencies. If I fail, it was the task. It was the people around me. The universe worked against me. So again, like the fundamental attribution error, this is not necessarily a correct attribution. In summary, attribution deals with the perceived causes of behaviors. Individuals infer causes to understand the behaviors of other people. Their perceptions of why certain behaviors occur influence our own subsequent behaviors and feelings, and that's why it matters. When I make attributions about other people, now I will behave differently towards them. I make decisions differently. Whether behavior is internally caused by the nature of the person or externally caused by the circumstances over which the individual has no control or little control, has of course great implications for leaders and managers in companies. Individuals also make attributions concerning task success and failure that have important implications for organizational behavior. Thank you. See you next time.